Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everybody? Damien here. Welcome back to the second day of Insane Insanity. I finished last episode right in front of the quest marker, and today I'm gonna start off by completely ignoring it, and instead I'm gonna go for a double loot on this POI. While doing POIs, I'll try to keep commentary down to a minimum, only pointing out the things that I find somewhat interesting, like the fact that the first thing I should be doing here is take out the big pile of wood in the middle of the room. Other than that, the fights will be quite heavily edited, as right now a full stamina bar is not enough, even with headshots I believe, to kill a zombie. So there is gonna be a lot of hiding behind blocks, kiting zombies, etc. Another very important thing I should be remembering is to actually clear dead bodies from the floor. They do slow you down quite significantly when moving over them, and when being chased by a zombie I definitely don't want that to happen. In the end I do decide to stop being lazy and clear out the room so I can properly fight zombies here. And I finally get level 3. That's actually a pretty big milestone, as I can get level 2 into parkour, which means I'll be able to get out of sticky situations just a bit easier. That cooking pot is actually the first piece of loot I get this episode. And that's about it for the first run on this POI. I can't find anything else interesting in the loot. The final stash is extremely underwhelming. Let's just hope that the second run will be slightly better. And speaking of slightly better, the start is not necessarily that great. I almost get killed by a vulture. But fortunately I do manage to do a better job on the second one. And now we get to see why the pipe machine gun is the no-brainer choice of weapon early game. It seems like the zombie that we are all hearing in the background was a zombie from outside that I've somehow managed to aggro. And for a first in 7 days to die AI movement, it actually managed to find its path to the ladder, onto the roof, and then drop onto the room where I was locked with it. If we take a quick look at my HP bar, I was basically 2 shots away from dying. Regardless, price is adverted. Thank you, pipe machine gun. Let's focus on the rest of the POI now. The beauty of doing double runs is that it gives me an opportunity to learn from my previous mistakes. And so I do take out the rubbish pile in the middle of the room very early on, so I have a nice place to fight the zombies. Even so, I do make a small mistake here and I let the frame get destroyed, which makes me use some of the last bullets I have for my machine gun. The rest of the POI goes pretty much as one would expect. The loot is awful, but at least I managed to make it through without getting hit again. The only thing noteworthy is the hobo stew that I got from the final stash. That's an excellent food for the Horde Knight, as it provides both bonus stamina and stamina regen, which is crucial for the Horde Knight when using melee weapons. Fortunately, just as I was about to head for the trader, I realized I don't have the trader marker active, and I finally realized that I didn't pick up the quest supplies. Now, one thing I didn't realize when I activated the keys is that it's not just the front door that opens. There's also a door in the laundry that's connected and that's gonna be unlocked. And as you can see, that caught me a bit by surprise. I managed to survive, but just barely. It is only day 2 and I've already came close to dying quite a few times already, but unfortunately this time I won't make my way out of it. There were quite a few factors at play here. First of all, I'm already low on HP. I have an encumbrance of 15, which makes me move very slowly. I didn't see a zombie that was sleeping near the car, but even so that shouldn't have been enough to kill me here, as generally speaking, 2 zombies should never be able to reach a 2-meter height block. It was actually in fact the snake that killed me. Because as I killed the snake, one of the zombies started eating the snake, which created a ladder for the other zombie to step onto and actually be able to jump at my level. Anyway, this is why this is not a permadeath series. This is gonna be the first death of many, I'm sure of it. We're just gonna respawn, get my revenge on the zombies, and continue making my way to the trader. I'm gonna very quickly sort my inventory before going into the trader, making sure to only keep on myself the thing I need for adventuring and the thing I'm gonna sell to the trader. Other than the dukes, I'm not gonna be expecting any decent trader quest rewards, so the magazine bundle is probably gonna be the preferred choice for the foreseeable future. I would have preferred the tier 1 POI to do over the night, but unfortunately this town seems to be quite light on tier 1s, so buried supplies it is. On my way to the buried supplies quest, I actually come across a working stiff tools, and this one actually know where the main loot is. I was initially thinking to loot the main floor as well, as there's a ton of shelves and there's a lot of useful loot on them. but eventually decided against it as I don't know where all the zombies are. It is a tier 3 POI, so I'm expecting plenty of zombies, and well, it's not a Burma series, but let's try not to die 2 times in one day. The main stash is right on top of the building, very close to us. I just need to pull my way up to the roof. Fortunately, this time I managed to sneak up on the crows and get rid of them without taking any damage. Next skill point goes into Lucky Looter. We need to start compensating for that 50% loot ratio. The Fireman's Almanac is only gonna be useful once I get a mini bike, but still a good perk book to have. And that's about it for this POI. I'm not gonna hammer my way into the locked chest, that will probably take 4 or 5 hours, and the rest of the loot is as bad as you would expect. I'm slowly making my way towards the buried supply location, but I am also looting things left and right whenever I see something that gives magazines. Feral zombies are gonna be a challenge for quite a while, though this one at least has the decency to drop a loot back with actually quite decent loot. And the timing couldn't be better. Right as I finish off with the monkey, I see a wandering horde passing right by me. Now, if I would have pulled aggro on them, I would probably be almost instantly dead. There's no real safe place to run here, and I'm also encumbered a bit. I finally managed to find the second Forge Ahead magazine, which means that I can now craft the Dew Collector, for which I've been collecting plastic all this time. And I even find the third Forge Ahead magazine right after it, but a bit of spoiler alert, my luck is not gonna look like that throughout the game. The journey through the wilderness was quite uneventful, so I'm gonna skip ahead to the buried supplies location. And probably the worst thing one could do is come to a buried supply quest while being thirsty, as it took me almost 2.5 hours to dig up the treasure, and I even got somewhat lucky with the location, I would say. Fortunately at this game stage I only get a 3 zombie spawn. We are nearing the end of the episode, so I'm actually gonna leave this fight uncut, just to give everybody a sense of how difficult the fights still are. I did took a bit of a chance here as it's technically possible for 3 zombies to pull themselves up onto the block, as you've seen earlier. But in the end, I do emerge victorious, the quest is done, and now I can safely head back to the trader. With that being said and done, I hope you've all enjoyed the second day in this insane world. Thank you all very much for watching, I hope to see you here for day 3, but until then, have a great time.